What's going on, YouTube? So our last video for the door install is part 3, the Ryobi door hinge installation kit. Let's get it started. So what will you need when you're actually using one of these jigs here? You can go a couple different routes. The easiest thing to do, and what this is really built for, is a router. Okay, so it's going to allow you to adjust your width and your depth when you're adding door hinges, or you could just use this as a template. The cheaper way is, if you don't want to go out and buy a router, you can just use a regular chisel. So all you would do is trace out, and I'll show you this in the video, just trace out the hinge that you're going to put in there and then use the chisel to take it out. But the easiest way, this is really set up for a router. So before I go over all the ways you can use this thing here and all the features it has, remember, there was 2 videos before this. The first one was the Milwaukee door lock installation kit. That was video number 1. Number 2 was the Ryobi latch plate installation kit. And if you want to see those videos, just check out my channel and they're on there. But this is the 3rd step. So let's talk about some of the features of this. The first thing I noticed when I picked it up was it's built pretty well. It's plastic. Everything on this is plastic. And once again, you know, I said in my previous videos that I just wish that somebody would add some metal to these things. I would pay a little bit more for better quality. And I'm not saying this is bad quality. I'm just saying I wish there was some metal like this right here. And this is part of the review phase, but this right here, this is actually allowing you to vise this down to the door. I mean, this is all plastic, and the one thing I notice about putting this on here when I'm getting ready to clamp it down is it's just, I don't know, I always feel like it's gonna break on me. So that's the one thing I noticed. Everything else is pretty solid, even you know, the adjustments, they're not bad. I just, you know, this part right here I'm not real fond of. I wish that they actually put the screw down here in a metal piece like Milwaukee did. That being said, this allows you to put it on the door and actually adjust to the size of the door. So this is a larger door, obviously. I mean, we got some play here, but if I wanted to tighten that up, I would just screw this down like so, and that's not going anywhere. It does put a solid grip on it, I will say that. So you can see right here you have the outline of the hinge. The second part of this is the actual width of the hinge. So you might have a small hinge or a large hinge. It goes down to 3 inches, and let me zoom in here. It actually goes to 3 inches. So I would click that down like that, and I can go up to 5 inches. So I would just push that down. That's 3.5 inch. That's 4 inch, 4.5, 5 inch. So you can see here now we have a very large hinge that we can trace out or take out with the router. These 2 areas right here are actually very cool. So when you're using a router, you're going to say to yourself, how far down do I actually need to go? And this is your setting right here. So if you have a larger hinge that's a little bit thicker, you would use this, and I'll show you this in the video, but you would use this part right here, or you would use this part for just a standard hinge. And what that allows you to do is adjust your router bit to the depth. So you would just put your router right here, and your bit would actually go in this area right here. And once you touch the bottom of that, boom, that's it, your router's set. So we'll show you that later on in the video when we actually install this hinge. What I really think was smart that they did with this jig here was a lot of people have smaller routers, you know, the palm routers and so on. So if I'm trying to route this out for this hinge, my palm router, the base of it might not fit right here on top. It might actually go in and you're going to screw up your cut. So what they have done is came out with this little fence here, which is actually really cool. You just pop that out and you can see that's right there. So all you would do is come over and place it right here. You would push that down, push that down. Now this gives you the surface area to use that smaller router. Now I'm going to use a larger Ryobi plunge router, but that was really smart on their behalf that you can use just about any size router you want on this, because now you have a surface area where that router will not fall through. It's actually going to ride across the top of this here. So very smart. So another cool feature to this is you can see here This is a rounded hinge edge. Maybe you have a square rectangle hinge that you don't want that rounded edge. This is pretty neat. So what you can do is you can remove these, or actually reverse them, so you can use a rectangle edge, and I'm going to show you right now how to do that. So if you flip this over, right, so we were like this, if you flip this over, you can see on the back here these two little pieces. So remember, we got the rounded edge, and that's what our hinge is going to be today. So I'm going to put these back, but you can see this right here. So what you would do is, if you wanted the rectangle, you come over here and just pop this out, right? So that's popped out, and you're actually going to reverse it. So you can see the outline here. You're just going to put that right in here like that. And I'm going to do the same on this side here. So I'm going to pop that out. I want to drop it here. Pop that out right there, and this goes in like this now. Ooh, yep, there we go. Sorry about that. We're going to put that right in there, like so. And now when we turn this back over, actually we can go this way here, doesn't really matter right now. I'm just trying to show you. You can see now that you can do a square or rectangle hinge, right? So that's pretty neat. I'm just trying to give you the best view here. So that's what that allows for. I think you can see it better this way. So very, very cool. And this is the way you would actually route anyway. So very cool. And once again, now you can adjust to the different size hinges, right? So now you're all the way down to 3 inches. So now you can do that rectangle. So you can do the beveled edge, or you can do just the straight edge right there. Now, what I did not know this came with, and if I would have read the Home Depot site a little bit better, is this actually comes with a trim router bit. I had no idea. I thought I was going to have to go out and buy one of these, but this actually comes with it, and it's placed right here. There's actually a holder for it. So a trim router bit, what that allows you to do is right up along the edges and not have to worry about gouging this out. So you're actually able to, you know, remove that wood, and like I said, you're not going to gouge out the sides. Hopefully, we're going to try that. But yeah, this actually comes with it, so I was really excited about that. It gives you everything you need in this kit. It's excellent. So what we're going to do, I'm going to actually put this in my router. We're going to use a router for this, not the chisel. And I am going to set up for an install of a door hinge. So right here is my standard 3.5 inch hinge. So you can see right here, it's your basic hinge that you would buy at the Home Depot or Lowe's or wherever you're going to go. But I need to install this here. So I want to make sure that it's straight. After I measured and found out where I want to put this hinge, I'm going to use this jig to install it. The easiest way I found out to do is take the old door and just lay the new door down on top of it and just mark across where the hinge placement actually goes. That just seems to be the easiest way for me. So you can see that it's rounded up on top. So we had reset the jig up to match the rounded area. So let me actually find the size here, and we'll be right back. So I had found that the easiest way to do this, even though I know the size is 3.5 inches, I'm actually just going to put this in here and close this. Now let's tighten this down here. We want to make sure that this is nice and tight. So that's not going to go anywhere on us. This is where we want to put the hinge. Okay, secure. This is 3.5, so we're going to put that in here. The easiest way to do it is just put it in there and then slide this. You can see it's in the 3.5 inch slot right there. Okay, so that's where we want to be. All right, so we're going to take this out and we're going to do some routing. So now, even though I'm using the larger router, I am going to install this fence here. And that's it for that. Once again, we are set up for the 3.5, and that should be a perfect cutout for that hinge. Okay, so right now you can see that we're automatically adjust. We just put that bit right down in there and just let it touch the base of that. Just adjust it up to the 3.5 inch mark and you are good to go. So that automatically tells you that that's where you need to be depth wise, right? So this is a thicker hinge. You would want to come over here. The 3.5 inches, we're good to go. And now we are going to route this out. Okay, remember we got our fence set up. Here we go. Alright, I hope you can see that. And just so you know, that is the Ryobi 2 HP Peak router. And I also have a review for that on this page, so check it out. Alright, we are going to take off that jig and see how that actually lines up with the hinge. So how we're going to do that is just loosen this up. Look at that. That's smooth. Let me set this up on top here. All right, moment of truth right here. Let me zoom in. Drum roll. Nice. Look at that. It's flush. This is nice. This worked out perfectly. So now you don't have to worry about, you know, going too far with it. I mean, that's just a perfectly smooth cut. And the fact that this comes with the actual router bit itself is awesome. But that's perfect. If you did a chisel, I mean, you could do a chisel if you wanted to, but I'm gonna be honest with you, if you don't get this perfect and that doesn't have something to set up against, this is gonna be sliding around on you, and your door is gonna go out of adjustment probably. So you definitely wanna make sure that you cut this out as nice as you can. So you're gonna need a router with this piece. But look at that, that is just awesome. And you can go down a little bit deeper if you needed to. You know, even if you felt that, hey, this does need to go down just a hair more, you could do that, just adjust your router, but man, that is awesome. So I am really happy with this. All I would need to do right now is just drill a couple bits right in here and screw that hinge in, and I am good to go. So, yeah, that made my life a whole lot easier. And I believe this is like $29 at the Home Depot. I'll put a link right below my page. So all in all, Ryobi hinge installation kit. If I were to give this a 1 to 5 star, 1 being the worst, 5 being the best, 5 hands down. I love this thing. Man, this just saves you so much time. And when you go out and buy, you know, listen, I'm replacing all of the doors in my house, and it's cheaper, number one, to go out and purchase the doors that aren't already pre-drilled, but a lot of them don't have the hinges cut out anyway, even if they are pre-drilled, because they don't know how your hinges are going to align with the old door, right? So you're going to have to do this anyway, regardless. But I'm telling you, it's pretty sturdy. I do wish that this piece right here was metal, but no problems with it breaking. I'm not saying that it's going to break. I'm just saying that I just wish this was metal. But man, does it make life easier? It's sturdy. It's easy to use. It might be a little intimidating at first, but it even comes with a bit, the router bit, and you just can't go wrong with that. So the 3 tools that we talked about was, remember, the Milwaukee, right? That was the lock installation kit. Then we used the Ryobi latch installation kit. And then we use this right here, which is the Ryobi hinge installation kit. And all 3 made those easy as can be. So if you're a DIYer and you're not a professional that knows how to use a square and, you know, all these tools, and just use a chisel because you're an artist, you know, some people are just great at doing this. They've done it their whole lives, but most of us haven't. So this is why these tools exist on the market. If this has helped you, please thumbs up, subscribe. We have more videos coming up. I appreciate your time, and have a great day.